straight away, fam. We're into it. We got to talk about this. What the hell is going on, fam?
Bro.
Let's talk about Chris. What's Senior doing? What is Senior doing? Let's talk to me.
Senior is I really bro, I'm in such mixed feelings on Chris Eubank Sr. right now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? This is someone I've admired for years. Still a big fan of. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I watch his fights back sometimes, and you go back to that feeling of watching it live. Do you know what I'm saying? When we met him and did the interview with him, bruv, I told him straight. I was like, bro, when you fought my man, I think it was Kalsagi or Steve Collins, one of those fights, bruv, when you lost, man was in tears, fam. Like, I was so locked into Eubank Senior's career. Yeah. So it's like to see him now and the way he's kind of going on, and I feel like he's really roughhousing his son in the public space. I dislike it so much, bro. Like, I love to see him and his son. Strong image, fatherhood. You understand? It was a powerful visual of them two together. Even if they're not together now, I don't like the fact that it's gone bad like this. Now I'm looking at it now and think to myself, I see toxic parenting. I can't unsee or unhear toxic parenting. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's mad. Like, when he talks about his son, it almost sounds like he's talking about a teenager, like an adolescent, like someone that's not of age and stuff. And it's like, you have to understand, he's going a different way. And the hard thing is, it's hard for him to understand that, but I get the value. Like, he has value. You see how you say a fighter shouldn't lead, because it's a double-edged sword, actually. You can see the value he has. Eubank is not where he is without the name of his father. His father plays a big part in that, like, where you've come off the shoulders of the work that he's done, really. Like, let's have it right. And it's like when people say, if you sign to Eddie Hearn, you're gonna get these fights. Well, Eubank's saying, listen, my name is as valuable, maybe not so Eddie Hearn, but my name is valuable, and I helped build that establishment. So it's hard, because it's saying, well, next to me, you get paid. And it's true, like, with my name, you were getting paid. But the problem is it's not. Go ahead.
The problem is it takes everything away from Junior. At the end of the day, he gets in the ring. As Eubank Sr. always says, the man in the arena. Yeah? And for this career, Junior has been the man in the arena.
Yes.
You understand? So for me, I'm like, whilst I get it, and let's say, for example, Eubank Jr.'s career happens without Senior, we will still know Eubank Jr. I understand it will take longer. He doesn't start with the big rollout. The yellow shorts don't grab our attention. Everything is very different. But that man who was doing the madness that he was doing to them guys at British level is going to get attention.
Then what's this for Harlem then? Because Harlem hasn't.
Let me land. He won't get the opportunities over and over again. We are like the level that he got to and the combos that he was in. Triple G, he will destroy Triple G. Yeah, that's where the value came. But I'm saying he wouldn't be nobody. He wouldn't be a bum. Man ain't just beating up Junior because he's. You see what I'm trying to say?
I'm saying that because we have images to look at. We have Harlem that is not had Chris Eubank Sr.
That's right.
And we've seen how it's, and there's another brother. There's another brother, right? Chris. There's another brother.
Nathaniel Wilson.
Yeah. There you go. So you've had these ones that haven't stood next to Senior, and you've seen what has happened with them not having Senior right next to them. It's while they're good fighters.
Even Seb to a degree. His thing wasn't boxing hardcore, but when he stepped into the space, he didn't step in.
There you go. And the power of, so we can't deny it now by seeing it with our own eyes. The power of the father is impressive. It is, because now even I'm talking about, well, why don't Conor fight? What do you call it? The nephew. Why is his record's nice? He's unbeaten. He ain't lost in how many fights? Why is he not getting his chance? They're the same weight. He's not above him. But now you ask these questions. But do you know why I'm asking these questions? Because of Senior.
I get that. I
brings to the party.
No, I get that. I do get that 100%. But the thing is, things don't just happen overnight. That's the thing where I think he's overestimating the power that he does have. Whilst we can acknowledge that it's very powerful, it's not a light switch that you come in and turn on and off. The fight is Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Ben. The namesake, the fact he's your namesake, you stood next to him for so long, it's that work has been done for Eubank Jr. Now, him and Eubank Jr. have fallen out. Now he's saying, I'm taking my energy somewhere else. That's the part where it's like, okay, interesting. Let's see what happens.
Oh, let's get to that on the fatherhood thing. But then I just knew, because I was trying to find the angle. When I watch him talk, I'm trying to find his angle and trying to understand him. That's all I've been trying to do in this time. I'm like, why are you moving like this? This doesn't make sense. You're moving mad. But then at the same point, it's like, well, the fight is Conor Ben. Well, the fight being Conor Ben only happened because of what I did with Nigel. Like, even still, this is my work. You know what I mean? This is my work. And you're trying to exclude me from my story. You're talking about legacy. Well, you can't talk about legacy. I'm part of the legacy. This is part 2 of my story. How about that? Like, the only way the beef is so real is because me and the dad you can feel it. And now you look, there's no real beef. You're just talking about what you experienced when I was fighting him, or how I looked when I was mashed up at home, and how the public was treating me in that whole time. So I'm a big part. Like, while it's hard, because I've been trying to think, oh, this dad's moving mad. But I'm like, let me try to look at it from his angle a little bit. So I don't want to just be like, because you can put him off as just angry father, or he feels that he's more than he is. And that sometimes it rubs you that way. It rubs you a wrong way, like, Eubank, what's going on? But when you actually start to break down some of the story...
Okay, but let me push back, yeah?
Yes.
Cool. I'm glad you have a different feeling on this, yeah? Let me push back. Everything that Eubank Sr. says about this sounds as if this is still the Chris Eubank Sr. show. And the humility that he's lacking as to why this isn't working is because he still thinks, I'm #1 on the cast list. I am the main character. You are now, because of me, here. You're #2. That's the problem that is in this camp, where Junior is saying, I want to be my own man. I'm a big man. I'm not 16. I'm a grown man. I still want, and this is the part that's being missed. I still want you in the camp. I just don't want you calling the shots like before. No, because he didn't kick him out. He didn't kick him out. That's the part he said. I'm going to be the boss. I still want you to be in the camp, but he does not want to stand down. So when we're looking at it from that side, we're saying, hold on a second. At what point does a man get to have the reins of his life?
That's true.
Because in your early 20s, oh yeah, I'm a student. Yeah. Middle 20s, I'm learning. I'm getting better though. But the stuff you're saying, I'm starting to see it now. As I get into my 30s, I'm an adult. Yeah. I am an adult, bro. Mid-30s, that's where he's at now. I don't know exactly how old he is. This age, this is the point where you're saying I'm kind of solidified in my body. Nothing's about to really improve from here. I am who I am. So if we've got to this point, me listening to everything you've said, and I haven't seen the mountaintop, I don't want this story to close, and I didn't get to have control at any point. Yes. Because at what point now, where's the peace in that? Now he gets to wander off and follow the route that you've guided me to that didn't have world titles in it. And I go away and I've got a lot of money. But at some point I sit and I go, well, I didn't do it my way. So how can you be mad at your son with this level of gusto when he's made that choice?
No, and I totally, Trav, this is the part, I totally understand it. But these relationships are just mad complex. These, like, while you're right, you're right on this. I believe that the father's moving, senior's moving and mad in certain stages when he talks on his son, like being in certain places, calling him a charlatan, just how he's moved. And I've never heard his son step out and say crazy things about his dad. But then the same place is like, we can't undervalue what the brand brings, what Eubank's brand brings to the thing. You can't undervalue it. It's huge value. This is it, because it's like, without me, we're not this. That's the truth. Like, unfortunately, and we've seen it, because when I haven't put my arm around certain fighters who are part of the bloodline, they haven't got to the heights, and they're deserving. There's so many fighters. These guys are not like they haven't been doing their thing. They've been doing their thing. No one cares yet, because why? You need him there saying, how when he walks into a room, you're gonna see Eubank. There's power that comes, because his son wasn't even talking for the beginning of the career anyway. So there was one guy saying Triple G, this, that, and the. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Eubank Senior is absolved in everything, because I still think he shouldn't be moving like this. I think that he has a duty of care to his son, But then he's almost doing that thing when, I don't know if it's the top of the tree thing, when he's like, the decisions you're making, having this many women is going to throw you off your game. Boiling down to this is going to throw you off your game. And you've replaced me with advisors that are giving you bad advice.
That here's the problem.
Worse for me.
Here is the problem, yeah?
Yes.
I would agree 100% that Conor Ben decision to go down to 159 or 157 or whatever it was awful. Watching that as a dad would be horrible. You understand? Like, that's got to be the maddest thing to see. But he was with you and was taking losses under you.
This is true.
So when you make statements and say he can vindicate his career by beating Canelo only if he has his daddy with him, then I have to say, well, you were there for Billy Joe Saunders. You were there for George Groves. And in George Groves, my man had a mash-up shoulder. And it wasn't enough to get that one done. There is a gap. There is a disconnect in terms of what your perception of reality is with you being with him. Yeah? For a lot of time, people were saying he's got to get away from his dad and find himself. People were screaming that because the boxing weren't looking that great. He lost to Liam Smith. Obviously, dad is thinking, I told you, he come back and avenged it. People are saying Eubank has looked the best he's looked in a very long time.
Eubank. Yeah.
How off the back of that Liam Smith performance do these statements still hold the same weight of listen to daddy? This is why it looks nuts.
Yeah.
Because even when he mentions it, it's just, shut that down. But the Liam Smith performance, he did look good. I won't speak on that. Canelo is the only way he can redeem himself. What are we saying? This isn't actually adding up in that way. Eubank Jr.'s stock right now is actually really high. It was really high before the first Liam Smith fight. The redemption now is high again.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at this, I'm thinking to myself, this feels more personal now. Way more personal. And the fact that you keep saying, only with daddy by his side. Only with daddy by his side can you achieve. Because he'll never be a champion. He'll never be a champion. That is, now we're verging into that place where I'm like...
But then it's mad because I don't know what he's gone through and what he's experienced and stuff. Like, again, this is me not really playing devil's advocate, but I'm trying to see the two sides in this matter. And because I checked out what he mean by he can only be a champion with me by his side. And he's talking about, the man asked him, so what do you mean by that? And he goes, no, I'm not talking about the WBO. I'm not talking about the belts. I'm talking about if you think the belts is what's going to make you a champion, it's not. And he's talking about I think he's trying to talk to the man. Whatever he's gone through a life-changing, he's gone through things that's asked him some questions. And he's done things wrong. You've seen he's had the marriage broke down. There's so many things that's happened in his life. And maybe it's like, I see so much of myself in my son. And he's making this cardinal sins or the issues that I've gone through, he's about to make them. And I don't know if it's a father saying, don't go through that door. Don't go through that door. Oh, you're going through that door. Don't trust this guy. Don't trust this guy. Oh, you're trusting that guy. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's seeing that and the anger of that, or it's too hard for him to sit on his hands and let him do it. Like, we're both parents. Are we gonna, there's things in a career. Like, if our children said, you know what, we're gonna be comedians and stuff like that, and then after we're like, they meet that one promoter, that janky promoter, and they're saying, this is my new manager. And you're like, no, I know what I'm doing. No, I know what I'm doing. And you see them making or they get into a duo or a group, and you're like, that's not the person that you need to be with. That's not and you can see it before anything's been said, but this is my own road. I need to walk my own road. But it's like, I've walked this road first. And I'm telling you right now, like, there's an issue with me sitting in that matchroom and seeing that.
So what's your approach then? So what's your approach in that scenario? Because
this is
I'm telling you,
answer. I honestly, but I know it's not what he's doing now. It's wrong.
Thank you. In my experience with my mom let me go and take the wins and the losses that come with the game. You've got to experience it, was what she used to say to me. I can't teach you how to be a comedian. There's things that you're going to have to develop that I'm not going to be able to save you on that stage. So you go through these things. There is a humility that happens when you say, okay, cool, if that's the route you want to take. But regardless, win or lose, I'm still here. That's the part. That is the part. That is literally the part. Because I'm a hard-headed guy. I'm a stubborn dude. I've turned and faced my parents and said, I think this way. I'm going to go this way. I hear that. I take it into account, but I'm making the decision. And they know that that's what I do. But I know, win or lose, they're going to be able to say, okay, this is how we can move forward from this place. You can't take this hard stance with adults. They're not children. They're not babies no more. That's the part where you got to allow the relationship to change.
Does
You allowed Eubank Jr. stayed quiet and stood there. He's come out and started being more vocal. He has a personality that sells.
Yeah,
he has a great personality. When you listen to Eubank Jr. talk, you can't dislike him. So now I'm looking at it thinking, so what exactly is it that you dislike about what's happened since you've been away? Because there's been a lot of good things. Yeah, there was a bad loss, but it was a great redemption. The personality, the brand stands a bit stronger now. You can't dislike this picture.
The sit down with Gary Neville was good as well. Like, he came out nice in that. He's come out looking good in many different spaces, and he's been committed. The one thing for me is I think that the defense for Conor over his son, it feels too questionable for me. He said more nicer things about, and he knows he's been doing it. He knows he's been talking up, but I know he's talking up Conor just because he wants something from him. He wants to fight for his nephew, so he's not doing it for no reason. Because at first I found it suspicious. Like, why'd you keep? But he sees him as a root. He sees my nephew fights him, and then they go on to be great. After the fight, they all go on to be great. So he's just trying to, again, I don't know if he's trying to get back into the game. There's just jadedness. There's a jadedness about him. Everyone's jaded in the situation, and I really hope that the only way this situation can really be solved is if Eubank Sr. is willing to step down from his, yes, you provided that thing for your child, but your child doesn't owe you. You know what I mean? That's the honest truth. That's the honest truth. You provide is like my dad winning ratings for providing a home, bro. I didn't even ask to be here. Like, you gave birth to me. Now I will try to honor you in how I move, but then you can't hold that over me.
Debt. It can't be an everlasting debt.
I'm not a debt. Like, I just came into the world. Like, we didn't set a contract before I came in saying I'm gonna have you and you gotta do this and do this for the rest of my life. No, it doesn't work like that. And and it's earned as well, you know. But maybe he's thinking, you know what I've done for your career, I deserve, or I've earned this respect in your life. I've earned this place on the mantelpiece. It's really difficult. It's complex, and there's a lost child, and there's a bereavement in there.
That's what I was about to say. So we're dealing with someone who, and for a while, Eubank Sr. was appearing in interviews and not looking, you know, in the best mental space. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going through a time. And now we're just off the outside of that, and these are the things that how he sounds. Now, like you say, Seb Eubank passed away, and that had to have shaken everybody to their core. Junior and Senior and the rest of the family, they're going through a tough time, because this thing is not an overnight, we're back to normal resolution. After every fight, you see Eubank Jr. straight out to, I believe it's Dubai, where Seb's son is, and he's with him. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a distinct change in these people. Like, everybody's different now. So I reckon there's still a lot of sadness that's causing this
bereavement.
There's a lot of grieving taking place, and this is a lot of people processing stuff. So it's like, I do understand, and somebody might think, right, Trav, you're being bare harsh on Eubank Sr. Yeah, but at the same time, it's because there is that. I don't feel like Eubank Sr. distincts between the boxer and his son in these conversations. And that's the part that kills me when I watch this thing play out. Because, yeah, I hear that. I hear the boxing stuff. The weight was a bad decision. Yeah, there's some of the choices have been crazy. Yeah, maybe he's not so dedicated on boxing. But that's your boy. That's your little boy. No matter how many muscles this boy, he's your little boy, your child. So when you're out here in these spaces, you're doing damage. Do you see what I'm saying? And I know that there's no way Harlem feels great about all of the elements that are in this. And Harlem is a blessed brother. Every time I've met this guy, you meet a good spirit. Him and Seb, very similar type of vibes. He's coming out of his comfort zone in this type of space. And I get it, it's business. He has to play into the type of thing and lean into this kind of way to push things forward. But I know they must still have a good relationship. There's still a thing where it's just a lot of dynamics that are at play, and I don't like the fact that a father and son relationship is paying the price for all of these conversations that are taking place.
It's fair, man. Listen, people, get involved in the chat, get involved in the comments. Let us know how you see it. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you agree with what Travis is saying? Or you just somewhere in the middle with what we're both saying, really? Let us know in the comments. We'll keep it moving.